Welcome back, guys, to another episode of The Story Behind the House with Terica Wright Real Estate. You all, today I have a very special guest, one of my clients, and she's also, let's see if you all can guess. Lean in. My very own sister. She closed on her property this year at the top of the year.
January 31st.
Yes. So this is my sister. We call her Shay, but you can let them know your real name.
It's Shakira.
So today she's going to be in the kitchen cooking with me. And well, really, I'm going to be cooking with her because this is her famous recipe. Tell them what it is.
It is my shrimp Alfredo.
Shrimp Alfredo. Now, my sister was the first person to teach me how to make Alfredo from scratch. We don't do jaws around here. So today's going to be a really, really good episode. And she's also going to tell us about the process behind purchasing her property this year. So you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right, you that way, I'm this way.
All
Let's
right.
go. Okay, you all. So we're in the kitchen today. We're making shrimp Alfredo. Let's talk about the ingredients. Go ahead, Shay.
Okay, so today we are just being very resourceful. We're using what we got to get what we want.
Wait, now this ain't resourceful. This is a plenty.
We do.
What we
yes.
missing?
Okay, so
See how it is when you got your sister in the kitchen? She already starting.
I use garlic paste as a base for the sauce. We're missing that, but we do have the proper ingredients. We have the garlic powder,
We
which
got
is
garlic powder.
a plus. It's gonna help us, and it's gonna take us a long way. We got the good butter up in here today, so she did do a good thing by getting us the good butter.
What is it? The Kerrygold.
This the Kerrygold. We gonna make it work.
Okay. All right. So here are all of our ingredients, and we had to make it a little healthy.
Yes. So we are gonna throw us some baby spinach in that once we get that sauce together. Once we get the noodles together and also the shrimp in there together, we throw that baby spinach in there to keep it just a little bit crisp, but a little bit wilted. It's gonna be perfect texture.
Okay, and organic, honey. We are very together, organic. All right, so before we get into your story behind the purchase of your home, our water is already boiling, so can I go ahead and...
Let's do it. Go
All
ahead.
right, now this is my sister's recipe, but I make it all the time. So, honey, I know what I'm doing in the kitchen this time, okay?
She does make it all the time.
All right, so quickly, Shay, well, not quickly, we can take our time with this, but tell us what made you decide that now is the time for you to go ahead and purchase your property this year.
Okay, so when I first moved into my apartment in January of 2023. No, that was December of 2023. I'm sorry. I said that I was only going to be there for 1 year. When I moved out, I wanted to buy, period, point blank. And I set my goal, and I stuck with it. Even once I got toward the end of the year, in 2024, I was like, I'm going back and forth, but I'm like, I gotta make a move, and I know that this is something that I truly want to do. So that's what fueled it, and that's what got the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm. So really quick now, I got my noodles going. You can go ahead and start working on your shrimp.
Okay.
And now, do you make your Alfredo sauce first, or you season up your shrimp and your meat first?
So I usually season up the shrimp and the meat first, whatever meats I'm using, and then I put them to the side, and then I get the sauce going because you got to keep working on that sauce. You can't just put it on and let it go.
So let's get these rinsed off.
Okay, yes.
And then you can use one of those bowls back there, so that way after you finish cooking them, you can sit them to the side.
All right.
All right. So one of the biggest things for me as a real estate agent, you all, is I love serving everybody, but it's really special to me when I get an opportunity to serve my very own family. So this one is going to be a really special one today. I'm excited. Okay, Shay, so while you're back there getting everything rinsed off, the next question that I wanted to ask you was, when did you decide that you were confident enough and you were ready enough to make this move? Was there ever a time where you felt afraid, maybe like you weren't prepared to own your own place? What was that like for you, that process?
Okay, so I definitely felt,
y'all.
I definitely felt a little bit of anxiety around approaching the whole process of it all.
Yeah.
You know, I've done some work on myself over the years and over time, and I found out what some of my triggers are. Long time ago, I did something that you suggested that I should do. You put me onto it.
One second, because I want y'all to see her face when she talk about this. Very rarely does my own sister give me credit. So I want her to look y'all in the face. And let's see when she ever took my advice.
Okay. So some years ago, I took my sister's advice and I attended a workshop that was headed up by Sylvia High.
Oh, Sylvia, we love you, Sylvia.
We love you.
Sylvia is, to me, the guru in personal development, self-help. She's all things get your spirit, your heart, your mind right for success. We love you, Sylvia.
Yeah, so I took the basic course. And it helped me to really uncover and see some things about myself that were in the blind spot, so to speak. And I realized through that that when I'm faced with certain challenges, if it's something that it seems overwhelming or something that I just don't want to approach, I will just sit it out. And I can't walk through life like that. I realized it in that moment and during that course. Like, you got to stand up for yourself. If you don't do it, who else is going to do it?
Yes.
Just because it's a challenge don't mean you can't do it. And just because you feel a little bit overwhelmed doesn't mean that you shouldn't even approach it. Because I wouldn't even, stuff that was just feeling like, I can't do. I'm just like, I'm not even going to give it a try. And that's defeating yourself before you even get out the starting blocks.
That's good. That's good.
So I approached this process with the mentality that I'm just going to launch out into the deep. I'm going to take a stand on my faith and on my belief in myself that I can do this.
Yes.
And that's exactly what I did. So
that's so good.
Yeah.
So now that you're about to start working on your shrimp, are you cooking the shrimp in butter or olive oil or both?
So we're going to do just a little bit of both.
Here you go.
All right.
And let me get you some utensils.
Yeah, just give me something I can just...
In the meantime, you can use this.
It sure
let me
can.
go ahead and grab.
Okay. Yeah, because we don't need the rest of this for the sauce.
Okay, so stepping out into the deep. One thing about this process, when you get ready to purchase your first home, for sure, it is stepping outside of your comfort zone. Was there anything that you felt that held you back?
Not at all. I mean, surprisingly, everything about my home buying process was divinely designed. It was, in essence, a miracle. Like
a miracle.
A miracle.
Y'all, buying a house is not a miracle, but why did it feel like a miracle to you?
It felt like a miracle because it just felt easy, and everything was a yes. There was never a no. And even when there were times that it seemed like something wasn't going to work in my favor, it automatically worked in my favor, even when it looked like it wasn't. So I just felt supremely blessed. And because of, always getting the yes from the universe and from the Lord, I just felt that I was doing exactly what it was that I'm supposed to be doing, period. Yeah.
I like that. When things are for you, you can use this if you need to.
Okay.
When things are for you, there really does come about a peace. Now, I can't say that all the time it's going to be easy. Some things are for you, and it won't necessarily be easy, but you'll still have peace even if it's hard. So this is really, really good. Now let's get into you choosing the property, because my sister, we started this process, was it last year?
It was in 23, honestly.
Oh, year before last.
Yeah,
okay.
It was. At the end of 23, we started this process, and I really didn't have a whole lot of direction at the time as far as what it was that I wanted and what was going to suit me best. And guess what was happening? Everything was no. No.
So timing
was everything in this process.
Let me use this.
See, I probably could put some more in there. Timing was everything in this process. And you know what? I didn't feel defeated because it didn't happen. I just felt like the timing wasn't right. So, I had to pivot, had to go another route. Just because it's delay does not mean it's the deny.
Yes, I love that. Delay does not mean a deny. Okay, So 2023, everything was a no. Couldn't find anything,
Nothing.
right? And what we were looking at in 2023, they were attached properties.
Right.
But one thing I do remember about your process, you were very clear that you wanted your home to be a standalone single family.
That's right.
And did we or did we not get the single family?
We got like pretty much. We checked a lot of boxes on my list.
Yes.
I'm not even gonna lie. I wanted 4-sided brick. I wanted older home. I wanted inner city. I wanted to remain in Atlanta because I feel like my family is legacy of the city of Atlanta. There is this thing coming out now where, Atlanta is so gentrified where, we're no longer a majority black city, which is not necessarily a problem. However, I would love to see more born and raised Atlantans be homeowners here and have a stake in their birthplace. So I purposely wanted to be a part of that legacy and a part of that movement.
Yeah. Now, speaking of ATLians and being homeowners in the city, you all, we have a very special guest for today's episode, and I want to go ahead and invite him up. Would you come on up, special guest? You can come around this way. Scoot over a little bit, Shay.
Okay.
Okay. So our very special guest today is, let me see if you can guess. All right, scoot in real close. It's my brother. So we're all here.
Yes.
Look. This is my brother, TJ. This is TJ. As you can see, everybody got a nickname but me. Now, I do have a nickname, but they stopped calling me that a long time ago, so we just not even gonna go there. But but this is my brother TJ. You can tell him your real name.
My name is
Terry McClendon. I'm Terry Cook. Clearly, our mama was obsessed with our daddy Terry. And then Shay, she was the first.
I was the first,
So I thought it was very important on today's episode to bring my brother in because we realized how big of a step this was for our big sister. I'm the middle.
Yes.
He's the youngest. And we really supported her. So I wanted you to be here for this moment for Shay. But speaking of being here from the city, you and your wife, you all own a home in the city of Atlanta.
That's right.
Yes, right? So could you tell us a little bit about what it feels to be a homeowner and just seeing how things are changing in our city?
Well, they are drastically changing. Getting very gentrified. A lot of individuals are moving here, so it's the time to buy for sure.
Yep, I'll get it. You can stay here.
Agent for sure. Don't miss your chance at it. This is the next great location, I guess you could say. Born and raised here. I know too much of anything else. However, I know this is the time to buy. So if you want to buy a house,
Now here's your fork. I'm gonna move out of the way and I'm gonna do most of the talking the way I normally do. I'm gonna let you have this mic so everybody can hear you. You just probably need to clip it right there. And so, okay, back to our recipe. You all see we've been multitasking.
Okay.
So Shay, go ahead and tell us what's happening now and what will happen next.
So right now I'm sauteing the shrimp. I've added all of our seasonings, and it's giving the aromas that it's supposed to give.
Okay, let me see.
Can you smell?
I can't smell
I
it.
smell the garlic.
Okay.
Okay. So that means that I need to go back in. All right. But there were so many fantastic things in regards to my home buying process that I just knew that I was doing exactly what it was that I'm supposed to be doing. First and foremost, let's go on ahead and just talk about some numbers real quick.
Okay, y'all go ahead and talk about the numbers.
All right.
Walked into my house with $11,000 worth of equity off the top in the city. Equity already.
Cash.
Did it. I mean, I live, as far as work-life balance, I live approximately 12 to 15 minutes from where I work. It just all worked out. And in all honesty, for real, she directed me into the direction of the house, my realtor. And also, when we got there and we looked around the house, we came outside, she said, "This is your house." And I said, you might be right. I said, let's go on and try it out, see what happens. And from there, it was just door open after door open after door open, and it led all the way into me getting those keys in my hand. All the way to the final hour of it all. You know, I'm literally sitting in the bank waiting for the broker at the closing table to tell me how much I need for my down payment.
Shout out to Miss Iris Wood.
Miss Iris is
with
the real one.
Recent Mortgage.
Of course.
We've been knowing Miss Iris since we were all children.
Before, right.
And she is still playing a huge role. She definitely closed the deal here for us
She
today.
did. Miss Iris was,
The lender.
she didn't necessarily have to hold my hand, but she gave direction, and I was like, you know what? I'm following instructions. I'm doing what needs to be
Are
done.
you cooking?
No, I'm not cooking.
No, he not a cooking child.
I'm waiting for the food.
TJ is.
Now, let me tell y'all something a little bit about this. Is a sidebar, a little bit about our brother. Honey, if he didn't do anything else, he was always going to wait for us to cook so he can eat whatever we cook.
There
Don't
is,
do it like that.
there is no lie
I
told.
mean, what else I'm supposed to do?
But now, his wife, shout out to Jazz, our sister-in-law.
That's right.
She would have been here today, but she was with the kids.
Kids.
Yeah, she was with the kids. She definitely is taking down the house, especially Jazz got the best greens.
Yeah, okay.
The best greens in the
Come
city.
on, sis.
I ain't seen his face. Got the
Yeah.
best greens.
And TJ, you can attest to that. I just gave her the recipe and told her what to do. I didn't even have to show her. And what that roast do? Turns y'all out.
We got some roast at the house right now.
See, turns them out.
Right now.
So
Right now.
Jazz,
Now I know I
Jazz,
don't have on
you
mic
the
yet.
real
Can you
MVP.
still hear me? Okay, cool. All right, so, all right, Shay, the shrimp, are they done?
they pretty much done. Yeah.
Okay, they done. Let me sample.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, let's see. Y'all know, let me see.
Don't burn yourself.
Please
Okay.
don't burn yourself.
Okay. Them tasting,
Look.
See.
them tasting good right there. Okay, so what's next? You gonna set the shrimp to the side?
We are gonna sit it to the side,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna just sit it.
Sit it to
Whole
the
thing?
side. How you gonna make the sauce?
Okay, so if you want to drain those noodles and put them like in
I'll do it.
Put it in a bowl.
a dish, a bowl or something,
Okay.
that would be great.
So we're so glad that we have our brother here because he gonna do the washing of the dishes and the draining of the noodles.
What?
Hold on, are the noodles done? Wait,
Yeah, you need to make sure they done.
They look like it.
They do look like it. I think we all right.
this your recipe? Are they done?
Listen, you are the one stirring the
I think they
noodles,
limp
sis.
enough, I would say. I don't.
They're al dente. They could be a little bit more done, but these are fine.
Come
So
on.
you gonna go ahead and drain those.
Yeah, we
Alright.
did kind of
Yeah.
have them on high.
Then what's next?
Okay, so we're waiting for that. We're gonna get the cheese out.
Okay. So
You can leave a little bit of water in here.
Alfredo.
Yeah, you can leave a little bit in there.
Nothing Alfredo is so good. We start with melting the butter
That's
in
good.
the pan, right?
Melt the butter in the pan, and then
Okay.
we're gonna season, and then we're gonna
Season the butter.
yes.
Let me tell y'all something. My clients are giving me a lesson on seasons because I don't be using as much seasoning, but
Usually, okay,
they
so
always turn out good.
when I was saying
Yeah.
earlier about some, we being resourceful, usually I use that garlic paste along with the butter because that's what actually seasons the butter. But today, since we don't have the garlic paste, we're gonna start our base with some of these seasonings, and then once we start adding that cheese in there and this heavy whipping cream, we're just gonna go in with that garlic and keep going in and keep
Okay.
going in.
So TJ, how our pot doing?
It's coming along.
Okay. Glad he here. Now, TJ, since you are here,
What
tell
is it?
us a little bit about what it meant for you to see our big sister Shay take this step. Because, not to put y'all all the way in our business, but it was a little tumultuous. We had a lot of things going on in our family.
water?
Our
Yeah.
parents,
Just
both
put it
of
up
them are deceased. And so we had, speaking of real estate, we have a property that was left by our parents. And so we had to put our heads together as siblings to figure out what would be the next steps for that. So it was a lot. There was a lot going on with us now being here without our parents. And just all of us decided to spread our wings and to grow. So what was it for you, TJ, to see Shay take this step?
Well, I mean, it was imperative. she definitely needed to do that. I mean, as we grow, we should all experience home ownership. I don't care what nobody says, but however, it's experience. Nonetheless, it's experience to have. I mean, if you just, like I say, you want to spread your wings and you do want to create a family, a significant other, whatever, what have you, and that's the perfect opportunity to do that. So, but other than that, I mean, it was mandatory for her to do it.
Oh, mandatory.
Yeah.
I like that word.
Yeah.
For me, home ownership meant something on a deeper level that I don't necessarily really talk a lot about, and that is
Now's the time.
stability.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me because over the years, everything has not always been peaches and cream. Everything has not been the greatest, and there have been a lot of transitional moments in my life. But to be at a point where I can actually do this on my own, it meant so much for me, and it meant a lot to me just to even go through this process and be able to just do it all by myself and know that this is something that I can do for myself. It meant so much. Like, words escape me right now, for real, to even describe it. So, I appreciate y'all, and I thank y'all for just being supportive and being there for me. I love y'all.
I love you
We
too.
love you
That's
too.
what we're supposed to do.
Let's talk a little bit about because I mean, at this point, you already know her process really was blessed. I have to say, as an agent, I have not seen so many open doors and so many yeses. The negotiation was like seamless, right? She got a ranch, and then that's one thing about God's timing. The word does tell us that He'll do exceedingly abundantly above what you can ask or
That's
think.
my first time
And
seeing you.
so with her having to wait, and
The
there was a
garlic
little bit
butter.
of a delay. We got a full basement going on, okay? Literally, it was more than what she asked for. So this was very exciting. So I want to skip a little bit to, since all three of us are here. What is our dynamic like in siblings?
Rivalry.
It's not that bad.
When we are together, it really is the goof troop. I have to say.
We're gonna have a good time.
Mama used to call us her comedians, for sure. She did. But, because I'm the oldest, I feel like I'm always thinking for everybody in the room, which they tell me that I'm wrong.
And she is wrong because you don't have to.
I know I don't have to, but I just do it anyway.
I ain't
We all
saying
have
that.
brains.
I know that, and I'm never doubting that you guys don't have brains. I'm never saying that, but at the same time, I kick into a certain mode as big sister. It's like, okay, you need to be doing this and you need to be doing that
Bossy, honestly, for no reason.
for no reason, and you get real mad.
Yeah, because now on the surface, y'all think, oh, Terica's the bossiest, right?
I don't care who the boss is.
But it clearly is shade.
I mean,
I'm about to eat one of these shrimp. Which fork I can use?
it don't matter. Well, I mean, go ahead, boy.
Okay, so real quick now, Shay, what did you just mix up? Because you got to tell people how to make this sauce. You all, the special thing about this dish is really the Alfredo from scratch. So Shay, you got to tell us what you just did.
Okay, so what I just did was I melted the butter all the way down. I put a little seasoning in there, and I put some of the heavy whipping cream in there, and then I also just started adding the cheese in. So the main thing that you must remember,
Over a little bit so they can see what the consistency.
the main thing that you must remember is that you have to continue to stir.
Tilt.
You have to continue to stir.
Okay.
You must not ever stop stirring
Okay.
until your consistency is where you would like for it to be.
Is the heat up high enough?
It is not.
Okay. Now, see, when she first showed me how to make this about 10 years ago, this wasn't how we made it. But we would let the butter soften or, melt all the way down.
I just did
Then
that.
put the heavy whipping cream and let the heavy whipping cream start bubbling. And then put the cheese.
Yeah, well, I kind of did
We
that.
improvise
Not really.
it.
Okay, not exactly, but we
We getting there.
are doing what we doing
Okay.
what we can today.
So back to the sibling dynamic. Okay, so who is the smartest? So,
Me.
TJ, now
Yes,
in
I
school, TJ got whooped all the time for not doing his work.
You
So
ain't
I
gotta
don't
be
know.
smart.
Mama
in
used to be
school.
sitting at the table crying with
School
you.
doesn't equate to being the smartest. You know what I mean?
It
I
doesn't,
don't know
not
about that.
necessarily. You right.
Okay, well, all I know is that I always felt like Shay was the smartest because I didn't never really see you study as much. But she always did kind of well in school.
I did.
Yeah, and I did well in school, but I really had to like work hard. TJ.
Don't get me started.
TJ.
I don't know what to say because you know.
Listen, I'm not doubting. TJ is very smart in a lot of areas. Okay.
Okay, so who is most like Daddy?
Ooh, me.
Shay.
Yes, and it would. I think Daddy was a sleeper. Like he could sleep, and Shay
Yeah.
is the same way. Terry, your daughter,
Oh yeah.
my
yeah,
niece,
Yeah.
she is a true McClendon to her heart.
I would say
because
Saturday till
she will
Sunday. She
sleep.
slept to 12 noon.
That sounds about right. Because when you call me on the weekends, where am I?
Sleep.
Y'all
In
have
the bed.
bed sores.
I mean, okay. So who is most like Mama?
You, for sure.
What
Kinda
makes
question
you like
is
Mama?
First of all, honey, you gonna preach, you gonna give a word, and you gonna pray.
That's right. Let me tell you something. Let's talk about
And
Mama.
she looks like it.
And
yeah.
she do look like
I
her.
think I look like a mixture of Mama and Daddy.
You look like both, but you look more like her, for
'Cause
sure.
We definitely got the mocha chocolate brown skin going on. However, now, let's talk about Mama for a minute.
Just turn it up.
Because
I'm
Daddy,
gonna do it.
Daddy was very laid back. He was the real cool one, but Mama was over the top, boisterous. She was gonna push us
Turn up, queen.
push us to greatness whether we wanted it or not. And Mama was the one. She recently passed away. Well, not recently, but it was
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
And Daddy passed away, what, 2013?
Yeah.
So let's talk about what Mama would say in this moment because
Ooh, child.
one thing about Mama, we could not fight growing up.
No.
Now, quite literally, if she saw us arguing or let alone trying to hit each other, she would come in there and beat us all day.
Everybody get beat.
Don't say beat.
She literally,
Well,
she was
it's the
beat.
truth.
She literally did not allow us to fight because her thing was you all are supposed to fight the world together, not fight each other. So she wouldn't allow it. So even when we fight now, it's kind of really hard because of how we were raised. What did Mama in her upbringing with us, like, what did it mean to you all?
One thing I always tell people is that whenever there was like an issue or a problem that would arise, whenever I would go to Mom, she would always give me Christ. Never give me herself. And there was no other advice to give but the word. What does the word say? That's what she's giving every single time. And she was pretty much on point for the most part. There were only certain instances that I can recall where I went to her with certain issues where she could, personally relate and, come down from the right hand of the Father for just a little while and give me her human perspective.
Yes.
But other than that, we getting word, period. And it was nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, that's the foundation of my faith. It's why I believe the way that I believe. Nobody can tell me to believe any other way.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite scripture? On the spot.
Like, don't do that. Not for me. Don't do that.
Job 36:11.
Really? I don't even know that one. Job
If they-
36:11.
If they obey and serve me, they should spend their days in, I think it's prosperity or in peace.
I like that.
It's a
Okay,
long
Job 36:11. I'm gonna have to write that one down. Okay, TJ, lessons from Mama.
Lead with the love.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's good. After she beat you down, she would love on you.
See, I didn't even get to that part yet, but however, there was always consequences and repercussions to any action that you do. So whether you say, I'm gonna buy that house, and you don't buy that house, next thing you know, rent is $3,000. So you got a consequence to the repercussions to whatever you decide. So make your next move your best move and always
I wish
think
we had a
about it.
little milk.
Favorite scripture, I actually remember a scripture. John 3:16. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
That is not the scripture. John 3:16 is for
What is it?
For God so loved the world, my boy.
Oh, okay. Well, I got
But
it
I
wrong.
can do all things through Christ. I feel like that's Philippians.
Okay, yeah, it is Philippians 3. Yeah, it is
Uh-huh.
Philippians. I'm sorry.
And I feel like it may be 4:19.
See,
Yeah.
look at that.
I'm not-
You can edit that.
Okay, no, we ain't editing it out because you said it with a lot of confidence.
Hey, well,
too.
you know, I thought about it.
But I can
should've
do
said
all
the
things
scripture.
through Christ who strengthens me. And I feel like it may be Philippians. Either way, we know the word, but you know that scripture reference be a struggle.
Don't ask me the numbers and whatnot.
That is so funny. Okay, so really quick, back to this sauce here. Are we getting our consistency together?
I mean, it's a little thicker than I would like, but it's given.
Okay. So now we have gotten our Alfredo together. What next? We have our shrimp over there on the side.
Yep. Okay, so now what we can do is we start combining our ingredients.
Okay. So
Let me mix this down just a little bit more.
That's fine. So
Saute the spinach.
We can we actually can put them noodles right on over there in them in this.
put some noodles in the shrimp.
Yep, do it.
Are they all gonna fit in there?
All right. So let's turn.
Not all of them, but you know.
No, just a few. Okay,
Yeah.
That's fine.
And you gonna
All right,
put this
let's
on.
go
We're gonna put it on
over
low.
there. Thank you.
Let
Okay.
me mix this
So
on up
our
in here.
noodles are here. There you go. And just a few.
Yep. Yeah, and make sure he left a little of the water in there, so you can put some of those really wet noodles on over in there, because that's gonna help this sauce.
Yeah, I tried to
Okay.
leave a little bit of water in there too. So
You want to add some of the pasta water? And
no, I tried to leave a little bit.
You can, please. Go ahead.
The pasta.
There you go.
will
I knew what I was doing.
help it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you said you knew what you was doing.
Yeah, he asked me about that water. You want me to drain out the water?
Okay, so we talked about lessons from mama. What about lessons from daddy? One thing about it, our daddy was a hustler. He was an entrepreneur. And I definitely attribute my entrepreneurial spirit to him. There was a little bit of rebelliousness too in our dad, which is probably what kept him from staying on the 9 to 5. But he was a natural born hustler, baby. You can tell him nothing. And I know for sure that's, I got it double time from my mama and my daddy.
Right.
Okay, so one thing, I was just telling this to somebody the other day. One thing that always stands out that my dad taught me was that you got to save something for yourself. You got to save something for yourself. You can't give your all away. You can't give everything away. You got to save something for yourself.
Yeah, he did. My dad was a giver. He really did. I think one of the last interactions that I had with dad, I remember.
In there. You ready?
That's fine. Is there a spoon? Let's rinse it off really
yeah.
quickly, and then we can dollop it in.
Mm-hmm.
One of the last interactions with dad, toward the end, he had got very, very sick. I think I may have just mentioned, I pulled up to the house, and I mentioned that I may have needed money for gas, so I was going to go get some gas or something like that. And he reached in his pocket and literally pulled out, I think it may have been a $20 bill, and literally a piece of lint. Speaking of giving all that he had, he was willing to give his absolute last to the people he loved. So, saving something for yourself, why would you say that?
Because he just used to say that, he told me that once, and it just stood out so much. It's like, okay, you can give, and it's okay to give, but you can't give to the point where you ain't got nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So that resounded with me as a young lady.
Yeah, I think that's really sound. Okay,
Turn
so
that
we're
eye down.
pouring everything. I did. Okay. Ooh, this is looking good and creamy. Okay.
Yeah, I was a little worried at first, but now this is.
It's thinning.
The consistency is good. So we took a little bit of that starchy pasta water, and the Alfredo was a little thick from the cheese and the heavy whipping cream.
Yeah, because usually what I would use to thin it down, but still keep it, rich, is use some condensed milk.
Okay.
Yeah, and definitely that pasta water for sure helped it.
Okay, so a little bit of pasta water. And then, of course, the shrimp that was cooked in butter still had a little bit of butter. And so now it's looking amazing.
It is.
Okay, so
We're just gonna throw a few, just put some over in there, just like this.
Okay. So we don't need to cook the spinach first.
We sure don't, cause guess what? We're gonna wilt it. It's gonna wilt down.
Okay.
As soon as
So
we start
while she's
mixing.
stirring that, go ahead, TJ.
Yes.
Lessons from Daddy. What you got?
As a man, there's two things that you must always have, no matter what.
Okay.
It's a roof over your head
Mhm.
and a car to drive.
Okay.
I mean, I can't speak for everybody. Everybody don't want those things, but however, I grew up in Atlanta. Technically, this is the South, right? So, I mean, those are things that you really need to have. But however, those two things are imperative as far as development, because if you got a car, you can get to work. If you have a house, then you have somewhere to lay your head. Those two things were the biggest things I took from them on my day-to-day. And that's what keeps me going, besides the fact of my wife and my kids. So, but that was what I took away from the most. Entrepreneurial spirit. My dad, he was a mechanic. He had his own shop, had his own tow truck. And I'll be honest with you, I can speak this. He always used to ask me what I want to do, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't want to do a trade. I don't want to do none of that stuff.
When you was 5, you say you want to be a motorcycle man.
Oh my God! Yeah, and I got a chance to be a motorcycle man.
And he slid down Campbellton when he fell off the bike.
And I'm still alive. But anyways, on to the next. If you ride, you will fall. If you ride, you will fall. So, see, you're a test to
His
it.
son Jax, he says it's so crazy to hear. Jax says he wants to be a motorcycle man. He's 5 now. He says he wants to be a motorcycle man too. It is so funny how history repeats itself.
You gotta experience it. You gotta experience it. You gotta experience that.
That is so cool.
But,
okay.
however, real quick,
You want me to hold on to this for
my
you?
dad was an entrepreneur, and like I said, he had his own tow truck and he had his own shop. So I decided to take it upon myself. Now that I'm at the age I'm at, 36, I'll be 37 this year. I actually drive trucks. So I have my own truck. And I drive a bigger truck. That was never the vision. But however, I'm full head of steam being an entrepreneur doing that now. So here we are.
Just wilts on down.
I would love to see his reaction, but however, that's not the case. But I would definitely love to see his reaction to
He watching
my
us.
choice.
For sure.
So she's
both are.
working on this pasta, getting this spinach on down, right? Spinach is really easy to cook. But what do you think our parents would say about us now?
I think they would be very proud, especially I don't tell a lot of people what I do, and I'm not going to tell it today. But
Don't tell.
Talks of life.
It's not only fans. It's not only fans. It's not only fans.
But I will say this.
Security of the world, Craig.
Correct.
What I will say is they would not only be shocked, but be very happy.
Yes, they be really proud of you, Shay.
Right.
I think what I'm doing, they probably already expected it. Okay? I'm
Doing a talk show.
good at running my mouth. I always have. What about you, TJ?
I'll say my kids.
Yeah.
They'll be happy about those.
Thoroughly, they will be so happy and excited because right now, TJ is the one with the children.
TJ with all the kids.
He got all the kids right now.
3.
So we'll see if the sisters, we catch up
Ooh, sure.
and we join the club. We'll see. All right, are we ready to test this pasta?
Baby, let's test it because it's looking
Okay.
real good to me.
Okay, it's looking good. So we have these, this has more pasta in it, but we have these little bowls. You can give us a little bit in here. Let me
Okay.
make sure these are rinsed out.
Okay. You think I should add some more spinach in there?
No.
No? Okay.
Nope.
I can. Honestly, we could turn this off. Lord.
It's gonna get cloudy in a minute.
Yeah, that's what I know.
We still have shrimp left.
Oh yeah, this is the perfect consistency. I did this for a get together that I had at the house a few weeks ago, and they were raven, but I did it with chicken
I don't
instead of
eat
shrimp though.
So, yeah.
And I didn't even add the spinach. They were going crazy.
Of course.
So this is, you say you cooked it for friends and they loved it. Okay.
Absolutely.
So this is, we're going to call it Get a Man Pasta. Ladies,
Get 'em
y'all
on
know,
pasta.
but especially the ladies that don't
Hold it,
cook.
hold the
cook.
thing.
What?
Hold it. Yeah, hold it.
Ladies that don't cook love a good old Alfredo dish.
Right.
And when I say cook,
Right.
cook, I mean like southern cook. So this is easy. As you all can see, we did this real fast.
It doesn't take long.
So in your new house that you're gonna purchase,
It's gonna smell like Alfredo.
from Territory Real Estate, go ahead and get you some of this get a man pasta. And for my ladies that got a man, keep a man pasta. Okay, let's see.
You want to try that?
Yeah, okay, let's see.
TJ, you want to try?
I'll just try a couple shrimp.
Okay.
TJ is low carb, and so am I, honey. Low carb. We can't be eating all these carbs. Because it is the summertime, okay?
You're a spinach leaf.
All right, let's see. Do I have a fork over here? TJ, what you gonna dip your shrimp in the
No, it's already there.
It's already in the. It's
In the
already
sauce.
saucy.
I needed a fork. Oh, here's a fork.
Oh, there's another one.
Okay. All right. We're gonna test it all
It
together.
smells good.
That's good.
It smells good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move this stuff out the way. 1 second, y'all. We're gonna eat it together.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
trying to chop up some of these noodles.
All right. What you gonna get the whole pan?
I mean, what else I'm gonna eat out of? You didn't give me a bowl.
Oh, okay.
It's a pan.
Okay. Well, yeah, there you go.
You ready?
She gonna eat out the pan, just like how we do at the house.
Oh my God.
Okay. Wait, TJ, wait.
Hold on, wait.
We gonna test it together, and we gotta tell the truth about this.
Do we ever lie?
Okay. 1, 2, 3. That's good.
If you ever been to Red Lobsters, that's what it is. Red Lobster's pasta.
It's giving Red Lobster. I know.
It's good, y'all.
We ain't been to Red Lobster in a minute, but Red Lobster got some good Alfredo. Let me get a little shrimp with that. Let me see.
It's good.
This is gonna, baby, listen here.
It's gonna hit every time.
Okay, that's good right now. So anyway, y'all, Shay, you can leave the people with one thing. Let me get a napkin.
Go ahead.
Here.
Okay. If you can leave the people with one thing about purchasing their home, what would you say? Excuse us. That was good.
There you go.
Thank you. I'm trying to chew this food.
It's definitely good.
Okay. So I would say, follow your heart, do what's best for you, and remain positive and prayerful.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think that's all that needs to be said. TJ, you got something to say?
Be patient, persistent, and positive.
There you go.
3 P's.
Patient, persistent, and positive. I like that. Y'all, this has been another episode of The Story Behind the House with Territory Real Estate, where there is good real estate, good people, good food, and good Lord. See y'all soon.
Bye.
See ya.